Hello, I'm Claire Smith and welcome to my channel. So spring has sprung in the UK for sure now. The daffodils are out and I felt the sun on my face, and I've just got that feeling that life is becoming easier with the warmer weather, and it's created a shift in my perfumes, and so I'm thinking less about those heavier winter scents and moving more into those lighter spring scents. So what do we think of when we think of spring? We think of regeneration, of things getting greener, things reawakening. And what notes do those remind me of? They remind me of those light florals, perhaps even some sparkling notes such as citrus, nothing too sharp, and maybe some pear. And really that is reflected in the perfumes that I'm choosing for my spring perfumes. Also, I kind of shy away from patchouli in spring and I go more towards lighter woods such as sandalwood, and I gravitate more towards musky scents. So that is going to be reflected in my perfume choices. So I have got 6 fragrances for you today, and these fragrances are really fragrances that I reach for mostly in the springtime. I do wear them at other times of the year, but they just scream spring to me. So the first one I want to talk to you about is Marc Jacobs Oh So Decadent. So you'll have heard me talk about this one probably several times because it really is one of my favourites. It's just so sparkling and green, and I think that's really what makes me think of springtime. So this has kind of a pear in the top and also kind of watery florals like magnolia. It also has blackcurrant, but the main note that I get from this is the ivy, and the ivy just gives it that kind of new life, new green kind of smell to it. So this reminds me of walking in a woodland when it's just springing back into life. I really get that feeling from this. And also it kind of gives me that feeling of drinking carbonated water because it's a very refreshing fragrance and it's got that kind of sparkling feeling about it and that kind of carbonated smell. So if you really love a green fragrance and want something kind of almost sparkling, this one might be for you. So that's Marc Jacobs Oh So Decadent. So for the second fragrance, I'm going to stick with Marc Jacobs and I'm going to choose actually probably my favourite of the daisy flankers, and that is Daisy Dream. I just find this fragrance really embodies spring. It's the wisteria note in this that says spring to me, and for me wisteria is just completely associated with springtime because it so distinctively blooms in the UK around sort of late April, early May, and it's really one of the first kind of big blousy florals that you see in a garden. It really does just it really announces the fact that spring is truly here. And this fragrance really does have a really good wisteria note. It's very clear. It's a beautiful kind of purple floral, but also with lots of kind of fruity notes. It's got blackberry, it's got pear, and it's got grapefruit. And grapefruit really is the thing that stands out to me in this, in the opening. It's kind of not super sour, but it's just kind of, it gives it a little bit of an edge. And really, I think this is a really great pick for spring. So that's Daisy Dream by Marc Jacobs. So my third pick is Versace Yellow Diamond Intense. So this one has loads of kind of sour citrus notes, but it also is mixed with like watery florals and also warm florals such as osmanthus and jasmine. And it just kind of gives it that sort of nice, warm, sunshiny feeling, but it's not so summer screaming to me. This one is kind of a late spring kind of fragrance for me. I really like the dry down of this as well because it's kind of a woody kind of dry down and it has that benzoin base. It's kind of warm feeling, but it's not a heavy fragrance at all, and it really does last very well. I think Versace really have that knack of making very light floral or delicate fragrances that just last and last and last. This one does have quite a good projection as well, I think. And yeah, I think this one, weirdly to me, on my skin, sometimes I kind of get that smell of, you know, when you've kind of walked past a nettle patch. That is what I get from this. And I know that like there's no notes in this that would suggest that, but that really is what it makes me think of. It makes me think of childhood and being out in the countryside and exploring by roadsides and finding patches of nettles. So yeah, I love this one, Versace Yellow Diamond Intense. So for my fourth pick, I'm going to stick with Versace, and that is Versace Vanitas Eau de Toilette. So this one has rose in it, and that is the first fragrance that I've shown you that does have rose in it, and it's kind of a watery rose and quite a green rose as well. So this has freesia in it, but it also has kind of warmer floral notes like osmanthus. And I think that is the secret to like a good spring perfume, something that has those kind of watery and warm feeling florals, but also is just kind of a light scent. This one has kind of black tea, and it's supposed to have cedarwood in the base, but really the base to me is entirely black tea. And I think that's really what keeps it nice and light, the fact that it doesn't really have a strong base note other than the tea. So yeah, I think this one's perfect for spring. It's super cheap now as well, because I think you can get a 100ml bottle for I think around £25. So check this one out, Versace Vanitas Eau de Toilette. Very refreshing, very spring-like fragrance. So leading on from Versace Vanitas Eau de Toilette, I am going to choose a perfume that I think could almost be a flanker of Versace Vanitas Eau de Toilette. But actually, if you prefer something with a little bit more depth, with a little bit more floral, with a little bit more citrus, just a little bit more going on, something not quite so light, this might be the one for you. So this is Choo Illicit Flower, and this has kind of more citrus in it. So it's got grapefruit flower, it's also got a mandarin orange, but it also has an apricot note, which just kind of gives it a little bit of a creaminess. And it also has sandalwood in the base and cashmere wood, so that also adds to the creaminess. But it still has those kind of watery florals, it still has the rose, and it's still just a really kind of nice springtime refreshing scent. So that's an alternative to Versace Vanitas, Choo Illicit Flower. So my final pick is a perfume that I kind of go hot and cold on. I've almost decluttered this a few times, and then I always just try it again and realise that actually I really do like it, and that is Choo Blossom. So it's really badly named because there's really nothing blossomy about this fragrance at all. It's mainly just kind of a fruity musk, and that sounds quite juvenile, but really I don't think it is juvenile. It just says spring all over it. So this one has quite a citrusy opening, but then it dries down, and it's mainly really raspberries, red berries and rose, and it has kind of a creamy musky note in the end, and I really do like this. I think also like the sweet pea in this maybe gives me kind of childhood vibes again, because we always used to grow sweet peas. You know, that was the easy flower to grow, and you know, they're exciting for children because they grow very tall, and you know, you can have them climbing over things. So sweet pea to me is a very nostalgic flower, but really, you know, that's very background in this fragrance. It's mainly the red berries, the raspberry and the citrus with the musk. But yeah, if you've not tried it, check it out. Choo Blossom, my final spring pick. So those are my 6 spring picks, and please let me know what you'll be wearing this spring, and if you have any suggestions of any new fragrances on the market that you think that I'm missing out on, I'd be really interested to know. And please consider subscribing if you've not done already. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!